Love and commitment are not automatically the antidote to temptation. You need the right kind of connection. I'm going to tell you exactly what to do to create a bulletproof bond with your partner that makes succumbing to temptation impossible. Because attraction is a neurological response. When it happens outside your committed relationship, it's not a sign of failure. It's an opportunity for transformation. As the attachment specialist, I've guided hundreds of couples through this exact scenario. The pattern is remarkably consistent. Biochemical depletion leads to emotional disconnection, which creates vulnerability, and suddenly someone else catches your attention. This moment, right now, is pivotal. The actions you take next will either strengthen your relationship beyond what you thought was possible, or will begin its unraveling. You're standing at a neurobiological crossroads. The path that you choose matters. What most people don't realize is that this attraction is actually revealing something crucial about your existing relationship. Something that, when addressed properly, becomes the foundation for extraordinary connection. But most people misunderstand these feelings. They either bury them in guilt or act impulsively, causing irreversible damage. Now, by the end of this video, you will know exactly how to tell your partner that you're attracted to somebody else and use that to save your marriage, to have them fall madly in love with you again, and to break through to the relationship of your dreams. I'm Adam Lane Smith, the attachment specialist. My clinical work over the last 15 years has shown that these moments of outside attraction are actually biochemical signposts, indicators that your relationship is ready for its next evolution. When properly understood, this situation becomes not a crisis that you have to get through, but a catalyst to build the relationship that you've always wanted. Because the truth is, this isn't about some irreversible compatibility issue. This isn't about finding someone better suited to you. This isn't about fundamental flaws in your character. This isn't even about the person you're attracted to. It's about a temporary biochemical imbalance that's completely correctable. If you follow my reconnection protocol, you will notice your attraction to others diminishing within days. That's because the protocol directly addresses your oxytocin and vasopressin deficiencies in a relationship. When you address this, it will help you reestablish your bond and get you the relationship satisfaction you thought was permanently lost. Chasing something new won't solve this. Ignoring it won't make it go away. This temptation will keep happening because it isn't about the person you're drawn to. It's about what's missing in your relationship. Now, the specialized techniques I'm about to share have helped hundreds of couples transform this exact situation into a turning point toward deeper connection and happiness. Now, here's why these circumstances happen. The attachment and chemistry pieces of it. What you're experiencing isn't random. It's following a precise neurobiological pattern that I have documented across thousands of cases in my practice. The mechanics are consistent regardless of your background, your personality, or your relationship history. Attraction to others emerges when key bonding hormones, oxytocin and vasopressin, fall below critical thresholds. This biological and biochemical depletion creates a vulnerability that your brain attempts to solve through novelty seeking. Attraction to others isn't about character weakness. When these bonding hormones are depleted, your brain starts rewriting stories. It says, maybe the spark is gone. Maybe we've just grown apart. Maybe I'm with the wrong person. But none of that is true. The truth is, temptation is something everyone faces in the long-term relationship. It's about how your neurochemistry is failing you. Your neurobiological bonding systems are breaking down. Your brain is craving connection and searching for a way to feel alive again. Your attachment style also significantly influences how this plays out. If you understand your attachment style clearly, you will notice specific patterns in how you disconnect from partners. That's because your attachment blueprint was formed in early childhood. Avoidant attachment style, for example, shows the highest statistical vulnerability to infidelity, a 47% higher risk. Their nervous system interprets emotional closeness as threatening. Their biochemical response to intimacy includes cortisol spikes. This means they unconsciously create distance as a form of self-protection. They misinterpret natural dopamine decreases as relationship failure because low emotional investment leads to easy detachment. And negative views of dependence make outside connections much more appealing to them. Ethical avoidants withdraw emotionally to avoid hurting their partner, ironically, intensifying the disconnection and reinforcing the false belief that the relationship isn't working. Anxious and disorganized styles can also cheat under more prolonged stress or resentment from perceived emotional labor. All attachment styles can and will experience temptation, but avoidants face this most intensely due to their inherent intimacy fears. So, knowing your default attachment style will help you intervene before small disconnections become relationship threatening, and it can help you prevent from repeating the same cycle indefinitely. Now, let's be very clear here. The attraction that you're experiencing is not about the third person that you're looking at. It's about a precise neurochemical cascade happening in your brain. Now, this progression follows a predictable, consistent sequence. Phase 1, oxytocin and vasopressin production decreases way below maintenance levels. And for most avoidant partners, this actually happens right at the beginning of the relationship because they're not producing the oxytocin or vasopressin that they need at all. They're only propped up by novelty dopamine. Phase 2, your nervous system registers these problems and notes them as potential threats, a biochemical abandonment or biochemical loss. Phase 3, cortisol and adrenaline increases as your stress response activates, and you start wondering, what if I'm in the wrong relationship? What if it never feels good again? Phase 4, your brain searches for the fastest available dopamine source, which usually is another human being who happens to walk by wearing something attractive. And phase 5, attraction to someone new, provides immediate chemical relief as you begin fantasizing, thinking, and even longing for that connection. Again, this is not about character flaws. It's about your brain attempting to solve a biochemical imbalance through the most accessible pathway. Even morally upstanding, good character people will have these temptations. They may push them away very quickly, but even that's not really the answer. We don't need to just push them away. We need to deal with them. Now, if you track your emotional response to your partner, you will notice specific moments when you feel disconnected or irritated. That's because these are the precise times when your oxytocin production is dropping or your novelty dopamine is really dying. Try documenting some of these moments in order to identify your biochemical triggers. What is it that turns you off? The internet parlance is the ick. What is it that's giving you those moments? This will help you intervene at the earliest signs of disconnection and get your relationship back to stability before vulnerability to outside attraction develops. The foundation of every secure relationship is built on those two neurochemical systems working in harmony. The oxytocin system, which creates the sensation of closeness, warmth, affection, intimacy, emotional safety, and deep bonding, and the vasopressin system, which establishes loyalty, protection instincts, and collaborative functioning, problem solving. When these systems operate optimally, your brain signals to you that this partner represents the ultimate in safety and comfort. This relationship deserves the highest protection. This connection provides greater rewards than novelty and should be preserved and prioritized over any strange encounters. And this is secure attachment, and it's the gold standard for relationship success. And it can be built, by the way. So if you're not currently feeling it, you can craft this inside your relationship. Now, in securely attached couples, oxytocin creates emotional safety, and it develops through conversation, personal connection, non-sexual physical touch, then a little bit of sexual physical touch, then more sexual intimacy, which then loops back and fosters deeper personal verbal communication and connection as they deeply know and understand and trust each other. This takes place across the first several months of a relationship, while novelty dopamine is artificially high to try to keep you bonded as the oxytocin goes to work. Again, avoidantly attached people don't get the oxytocin connection that they're needing, so when the dopamine dies off, nothing has replaced it. Vasopressin also kicks in as you begin solving problems together, addressing challenges, and doing cool things together to learn and grow, and triggers your brain into believing this is a useful, healthy ally. I should keep them around. That vasopressin creates loyalty and protection for the relationship. You also, yes, should be getting serotonin and dopamine to reinforce the bond in the appropriate ways through novel experiences within the relationship. The novelty dopamine about your partner dies at 5 to 7 months, but you can keep introducing new novelty moments, concepts, and experiences to renew the dopamine together. This system prevents attraction to others and enforces and encourages and rewards monogamy because your nervous system stays highly regulated. You don't crave external validation or stimulation. Your partner remains wildly attractive to you even into old age, and temptation never becomes a real risk. However, when these bonding systems fail, instead of the emotional closeness you're looking for, you begin to feel distant and disconnected. Instead of comfort, your relationship begins to feel stagnant. Instead of secure, you feel restless or even resentful of your partner. The process unfolds like this. The connection begins to weaken. Less oxytocin and vasopressin production, if there was any at all. Less affection, less trust, more frustration, more loneliness. Stress begins to take over. These are cortisol spikes. Now, cortisol blocks the bonding hormones and lowers your impulse control on purpose to try to get you to soothe yourself. The brain begins to seek relief instead through dopamine. You can punch a dopamine button. It's hard to take the time to invest in building new relationships. Dopamine is readily available, especially in the modern day. With our phones and technology, dopamine is always available. You start craving novelty. You start fixating on somebody new who would be fun. Every interaction with this new person gives your brain a new dopamine hit. Your stress begins to temporarily fade. You feel desired and alive. You think about them more and more. And I want to be clear, this is happening even if you're not fully in a sexual or romantic relationship with them. It could begin as a very deep friendship that feels like a wildfire raging out of control. You love it, and you are convinced you will never cross inappropriate lines, but you're continuing to push into the relationship with them. Those dopamine highs, though, are very temporary. It creates an addictive cycle. Once this process starts, your mind tries to justify it. Well, maybe my partner isn't right for me. Maybe we've just grown apart. Maybe I've outgrown them. Maybe this is a sign. But what's really happening is your biochemistry is failing you. Here are some warning signs you need to follow that will tell you if you're vulnerable. If you feel emotionally disconnected from your partner. If your sexual attraction to them is fading. If you keep fantasizing about someone else, if you feel resentful or empty instead of affectionate, if you avoid deep conversations or feel checked out. These are not normal to a healthy relationship. This is not the normal life cycle of a healthy, securely attached, flourishing relationship. These are signs that your brain is telling you something's missing. Now, the problem is that many misinterpret these signs as meaning they're just with the wrong person. From my experience, in 93% of cases I've worked on, this is wrong. You're not with the wrong person. You're bonding incorrectly. The real risks are that succumbing to temptation is not a solution. It's a temporary relief to a problem that's been there all along and will be there again. And it's temporary relief with permanent damage. And the worst of all, that other person, the one who seems so exciting right now, won't be the answer because they never were. You're just going to relive the same pattern with them. If you leave and go build a relationship there, the same thing will happen again. And deep down, you know it. So consider what's really at stake. Your marriage or your relationship, repairing the trust after betrayal can take years. And that's a risk that they might leave you for good when they find out. It always comes out eventually. And even if you choose never to reveal it, the fact that you are withholding such a powerful secret will come out unconsciously through your behaviors. And if you have children, the world they trust will shatter. And no matter how hard you try, they will never look at you the same way again. Daughters are especially gutted by parental infidelity. This is one of the ways that attachment trauma starts. Witnessing parents go through something like this betrayal, teaches children that promises are made to be broken, that love dies. And when you get close to someone, they hurt you. You're opening that door for your children to struggle with relationships for the rest of their lives. Consider your reputation. Do you want people to think that this is who you are? And look at your self-worth. Right now, you might believe this will make you feel alive again. But when that moment's over, you'll feel emptier than before. And now you're a person who breaks your own core ethics and principles for pleasure, temporary pleasure. Most people really struggle to reconcile this within themselves, that they've hurt somebody in their life and their family so deeply, especially children if they're involved. The real tragedy here is not feeling temptation. It would be letting temptation destroy something that's worth saving. Because once you cross that line, you can't go back. But what if, instead of crossing that line, you could bring your relationship back to life? What if you could wake up next to your partner and feel that rush of excitement again? Not because it's new, but because it's real. This is exactly what happens when you fix the real problem. You don't need a new person to feel that spark again. You need to rebuild the bond that made you fall in love in the first place. Secure attachment is what I teach people every day. And if you're ready, I can show you how to start doing it too. Here's how. The solution, you need an immediate intervention. I call this the neurological pattern interrupt protocol. The first critical step is disrupting the biochemical cycle that's fueling your new attraction. This requires immediate neurological intervention. Number one, activate your vagal reset. Engage your parasympathetic nervous system through temperature change, cold exposure. Introduce rhythmic movement to balance neurological stimulation. Create sensory shifts to interrupt thought patterns. You need to be using your body to change your temptation and your obsessive thoughts. If you get into a loop of fixating on that person, cold exposure, rhythmic movements, cardio, lifting, and sensory changes can help immediately in the short term. This is a vagal reset. This is short-term temporary, but it begins the process. If you implement the cold exposure technique, you'll notice an immediate drop in obsessive thinking about the other person. That's because it's very hard to think about engaging a new partner when you feel like you're freezing to death. Your body's designed that way. That's because cold activates that vagus nerve, which counters cortisol production. Try a 30-second cold shower now in order to prevent and break that neurochemical cycle. This will help you regain some cognitive clarity and prevent you from making decisions from a biochemically compromised state. As you do this first initial interrupt, now it's time to actively work to stop the cycle from starting up again. You do this with a couple of key things. Number one, cognitive reframing. Verbalize the neurobiological reality. This is a predictable dopamine response, not authentic connection. You can say that out loud. Verbalize this out loud when you're thinking about the person. This is a predictable dopamine response. This is not authentic connection. Reintroduce that relationship commitment markers like photos of your partner and your family. Engage external perspective to counter the rationalization. You need to reframe away from the thought that this is a good thing for you and this is the only way to be happy. Pictures of your spouse on your phone as a background, pictures on your desk, right? Have those moments and then talk to somebody outside the relationship and say, look, I'm going through a temptation. I do not want to follow through on it, but I'm trying to get my head straight. Is it okay if I just kind of talk this through with you and you tell me where I'm going wrong, right? Help with a little bit of accountability with a trusted partner or a friend, even a coach can help. There's something called implementing the delay protocol. Institute a mandatory 24-hour waiting period before any relationship decisions. This allows your prefrontal cortex to regain regulatory control over your limbic system. If the other person offers you a chance to jump into a relationship with them, go on a date, go be with them, go act or leave. If you start thinking about leaving your relationship, mandatory 24-hour waiting period before you will allow yourself to make a decision. Don't make any decisions within 24 hours so that your limbic system has a chance to reset. The next one is stimulus control measures. You need to systematically reduce contact with your attraction trigger. This means spending less time with the person, to be honest with you. Spend less time around the other person. It will feel terrible because you're looking for that dopamine hit and your brain's craving it. Your brain doesn't crave them and you're not in love with them. You're craving the dopamine hit they're bringing. Eliminate your fantasy reinforcement pathways. Don't let yourself fantasize about that other person. Stop that process. Use that cold shower technique or other physical techniques we talked about earlier. Break those, break those, break those. Don't immerse in them. They release way too many chemicals that will keep you addicted. And then restructure your environment to support relationship commitment. Start getting people around you who are big on committed relationships. Maybe go to a men's group or women's group, wherever you might be. Go to programs. Go to get help. Talk to your parents, talk to your siblings. If they're healthy people and would actually support you, talk with them, or good friends. Again, restructure your environment to support you and make it hard to break that commitment. And then dopamine redirection strategy. Engage in high stimulation activities that create biochemical alternatives. You need dopamine. Go get dopamine. But don't just follow through on whatever's 5 minutes in front or 5 feet in front of you. Follow through on good, intentional novelty seeking in your life that is productive, healthy, and does not violate your marriage vows or your personal ethics. And activate some established social bonds to stimulate your natural oxytocin production with friends and family. Get your needs met so you're not starving biochemically. If you are starving biochemically, you will do anything to get that. Now, as you do this, this reduces the immediate danger of you running out and making a foolish choice or doing something on impulse, which is great. But most people stop here and they're just fighting against their own starvation forever. This is doomed. This is why we have to initiate the second piece, the biochemical restoration protocol. Once you've established your neurological state and you know where you're at, we implement a precise sequence to rebuild your relationship's biochemical foundation. This happens in a couple of phases. Number one, the vasopressin restoration process, the foundation building. Initiate cooperative goal achievement, which requires mutual dependence. You introduce strategic novelty experiences to create shared neural mapping together. You establish regular trust building exercises that activate the prefrontal cortex. You engage in collaborative problem solving with your partner. You will notice a significant increase in feelings of partnership and alliance. All of this, what this means is start solving problems together. Start experiencing new novelty things together. Start seeking different experiences and sharing them and then talking about them. Face challenges together. This bonds you because the task-oriented collaboration directly stimulates vasopressin production. Try solving a challenge together right now in order to biochemically reinforce your team identity. This will help you reestablish the foundation of trust, the reason you're together, and get you back to viewing your partner as your ally instead of your opponent. This also cuts short any cortisol association you might have formed against your partner, where your brain says, I can't solve problems with them around because they make everything harder. Now in phase two, the oxytocin optimization. This is bond strengthening. We're going to transition you from passive coexistence to active engagement protocols. That means implementing structured physical contact sequences, non-sexual touch before sexual intimacy, building verbal communication and bonding that is intimate and warm and affectionate, moving into non-sexual touch and connection, moving into slightly sexual touch and connection, moving into very sexual touch and connection, what we call foreplay, and then into sex, which then loops back to the warm, affectionate communication that is open and personal. It's also about creating distraction-free connection periods with eye contact and emotional disclosures. A lot of couples, they check out at the end of the day, they grab their phones, they sit at opposite ends of the couch, they flick on Netflix, and they start trying to ignore each other. And they might talk over their phones or to the side and pretend that they're having a conversation. This is not bonding. No wonder your relationship is dying. The critical sequencing here really matters very significantly. Attempting to rebuild oxytocin before establishing the vasopressin stability creates a temporary connection that usually quickly collapses. You need the vasopressin first for establishing and building that trust before you can do the oxytocin connecting. You must reestablish that you are trusted allies to inspire a desire to then prioritize and protect the relationship through warm, affectionate bonding and oxytocin. Next, after all of that, comes the transformative conversation you must have, the strategic disclosure protocol. This is where most people make catastrophic errors, either through harmful disclosures or damaging silence. Both approaches typically destroy relationship trust. Okay? Instead, my research has identified a precise communication framework that transforms outside attraction into relationship renewal. Here's exactly what you need to say. I want you to know I don't feel as connected to you as I want to. And I know you probably feel the same. I want to figure out how to make our relationship exciting again, so neither of us ever feels like we're missing something. I want us to work together to create the kind of connection between us that makes any outside attractions totally irrelevant. Use this specific phrasing. If you use this specific phrasing, you'll notice your partner responding with relief rather than defensiveness or anger. That's because this language activates their attachment system to bond with you rather than their threat response. Try memorizing this exact phrasing now in order to initiate the conversation effectively. This approach works because it focuses on connection building rather than problem confession. It positions you as taking responsibility for relationship improvement. It creates collaborative opportunity rather than emotional crisis. And it establishes a future-focused trajectory for your relationship. This is your opportunity to rebuild, reconnect, and make your relationship stronger than it's ever been. I talked about the vasopressin pathway and then the oxytocin pathway. This strategic disclosure right here allows you to begin both of those. You were probably wondering, what challenges would I solve with my partner? This is the challenge of your life, of your relationship. This is it. We don't feel as close as we could. Let's conquer that together. There's your challenge. Now, I want to be very clear. If you're watching this video, trying to figure out how to not commit infidelity, not fall into temptation, you stand at a crucial decision point, a moment that will define not just your relationship, but your identity. One choice offers temporary excitement followed by permanent regret. The other leads to renewed, vibrant connection, a deeper relationship than you ever imagined is possible. Now, the research on this is very clear. The majority of people who follow through on outside attraction report profound regret and realize too late that what they were seeking was available in their existing relationship all along, if only they had known how to access it. I wish I could tell you the number of clients who come in and say, Adam, I thought I needed to get out of the relationship and all I want to do is get back into it because only now do I realize everything I've ever wanted was in there. I just didn't know how to reach out and connect with it. Couples who successfully navigate this scenario, though, consistently report relationship satisfaction that far exceeds their pre-crisis levels, sometimes by an average of 1/3 improvement over their satisfaction level before. A lot of people ask me, can you come back from temptations and the edge of infidelity or even infidelity? Absolutely, if you're both willing to work on it. The neurobiological explanation is very clear. The intentional rebuilding of connection creates stronger neural pathways than those accidentally formed during initial relationship formation. You didn't know what to intentionally do at first, but as you intentionally do it, it works so much better. The attraction you feel outside isn't the beginning of a new story. It's a critical chapter in your existing one. If you view this outside attraction purely as information, as data, you will notice opportunities for relationship growth instead of reasons for relationship abandonment. That's because attraction signals provide valuable data about your needs. What most people in this process don't understand is that all feelings, all temptations, all desires are simply information, and you don't have to feel bad about having information. But when you receive this information, you must ask, what is causing this? Where is this coming from? What does this mean? And the answer is not to collapse into it. It's to use this information to investigate and to learn more. If you ignore it, it will get worse. But if you do something about it, then you're using the information correctly. The reason you feel temptations outside of your relationship is the same reason you might crave beef, for example. You might be lacking iron and a nutritional deficiency. You might need something to process that urgent feeling. Nutritional differences and difficulties lead to cravings. It's a clue for what you're missing. The same thing is happening here. You need something in the process of feeling that temptation. Maybe it's novelty, maybe it's oxytocin, maybe it's excitement or connection. Whatever it might be for you, this feeling is telling you that you don't have what you need yet. Try reframing your experience now in order to use it constructively. When you implement the protocols I've outlined here in this video, something remarkable happens. The very challenge that threatened to destroy your relationship before becomes the catalyst that transforms it. But you need to act fast. This is a relationship emergency because you're falling into temptation. Think of everything that you stand to lose by making the wrong decision. Every second you wait, the temptation will get stronger and the damage becomes harder to undo. If you act on it, you will wake up one day and wonder how you could have let this happen. These feelings you're having can become dangerous if you let them. If you let them, they might cost you everything that matters. Temptation is very exciting until it's over. And then you're left to face the wreck you have caused, and the guilt will be crushing for you. Right now, you have the chance to make the right decision, and you don't have to navigate these feelings alone. If you need help, I have helped many people come back from the brink of infidelity to build stronger relationships and find greater happiness with their partners, and I can help you too. My team and I are here ready to help you. You can book a free discovery call right now, and we can help you get back on track and stop these impulses from ruining your life. You can email us at support@adamlanesmith.com. You can click to adamlanesmith.com and click on coaching or the attachment repair program, or get in touch with us through the website on adamlanesmith.com. We are all here to assist you. Do not be afraid to reach out. We are private and discreet. We get emails all the time about temptations, even about infidelities that have already happened. We are not judgmental. We are here to help. And we're here to help you build the relationship you've always wanted. I'm Adam Lane Smith, the attachment specialist. I've been doing this for a very long time, and I've helped a lot of people come back from this misery. If you're struggling right now, I want you to know, more than anything else, there is hope. It can get better. And you don't have to stay in a stuck, miserable relationship forever. You can improve your relationship and find joy and lifelong fulfillment in it. An affair is never the answer. If this has been helpful, please like, comment, subscribe, and maybe share this video if anybody in your life might need it. Anybody you know is struggling, maybe a friend, make sure they see this video. I want everyone to have the information here so that they can do what needs to be done. And also, I want to make sure that you know, one last time, if you need help, we are here to help.